I wanted to talk about The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Now, please understand that I have been a lifelong Zelda fan ever since I was a child. I started playing Ocarina of Time. That was the first one I ever was exposed to. And to this day, to this very day, it's still my favorite game of all time. For many reasons, and I can I can make a video on that later in the future as to why. But suffice to say, it's October, 18th, 17th, something, 2023. The game Tears of the Kingdom came out in May, like May 13th. What is it, almost like 6 months? And I haven't beaten it. I haven't beaten the game. I can't even bring myself to play. I'm still playing Elden Ring, and I haven't beaten this game either, but that's for a completely different reason. That's because this game is so amazing that, you know, I've basically been lost in this world for the past 2 years, running around, doing a bunch of stuff. I have taken a few breaks here and there, but that's neither here nor there. You know, I have my Zelda necklace on, the Spiritual Stone of Courage, for those of you that know what that is. But yeah, man, I guess what I'm trying to say is traditional Zelda is the best Zelda. The new form of Zelda is terrible. It's awful. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. You know, just because you make something open world, just because you expand the edges of the map in all directions to almost infinity, doesn't mean you're going to have a great game. What it means most of the time is that you're going to have an empty world. You're going to have a bunch of space and nothing to fill it, you know? It's a sad state of affairs. I even believe that Elden Ring's map is too big. I believe that it could have done exactly what it wanted to do with the same effect being half as big, if the map was half as large as it is currently. But that's the landscape we live in, my friends. Bigger is always better, which normally it is. You know, I'm not going to sit here and deny that bigger is not better, because normally it is. But in this current circumstance, in this specific instance, I would not say that bigger is better. So, there are many reasons why I don't like Tears of the Kingdom. I'm going to list a couple of them off the top of my head. I don't have scripts for my videos. I'm not like, you know, other YouTubers and stuff. Maybe I should. Maybe I should, but I don't. I don't have scripts. I never have. I think I've made thousands of videos, literally thousands over my lifetime. This is a relatively new channel here. But, and I've had like one script. Let me just start off by saying the temples and the dungeons. If you've played the old Zeldas, specifically the 3D ones, like Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, those three are like the golden trio, in my opinion. Even Skyward Sword to some extent, when it comes to the temples and the dungeons. Temples and dungeons are kind of interchangeable. I prefer to call them temples, because it has this spiritual, ethereal type of meaning and feeling behind it, to me. And that's what they were called in Ocarina of Time, which is my favorite game, so normally I call them temples. Breath of the Wild didn't have any temples at all. It had these 4 divine beasts. They all looked the same, except their structure, right? They were structurally, I guess, different, but aesthetically, same color scheme. I think the music was all the same. The bosses were like identical, with very little differences in moves. The sounds were the same. Just awful. Just boring, repetitive, uninspired is what I would call it. So I was hoping with this next game that we would get a return to form of the temples and the dungeons. And we got a step in the right direction, but that's all it was. Just a step, like a baby step, you know? They call it the water temple and the fire temple and the wind temple, or I think they call it temples. When you have temples and dungeons, you guys, you're supposed to have the unique aesthetic, unique music, unique enemies to those temples, unique items and mini bosses that you can only find within the confines of that area, and a unique boss. And I guess to some degree, Tears of the Kingdom did some of those things, but it didn't do any of them well, in my opinion. This is all my opinion, of course. It didn't do any of them well. You know, the first one I came across was at the Wind Temple, I guess, in Tears of the Kingdom. And I stood there for a while. I just stood there, and I was like, okay, let me hear the music. Let me hear the music. Because the first thing I think of is Snow Peak Ruins from Twilight Princess. And if you hear the music of that, you know, that whole area, it's just like even like leading up to it, ooh, it just, I mean, makes you shiver. It makes you feel cold. The music did nothing, man. The music did nothing for me at all. And that's just not just in the temples in Tears of the Kingdom, in the whole game. Like, a lot of the music was repetitive and repeated and copied straight out of Breath of the Wild. And it's just like, what, I'm hearing this again? The same thing? Like, I'm riding around Hyrule Field and I'm hearing the same music that I heard, what, 6 years ago. It's like, come on, man. So, and also with the temples, not only with the music, comes the aesthetic. Like, the aesthetics, the water temple looked pretty cool. The fire was okay. The sand one was alright. Just, it's hard for me to put my finger on exactly why they were terrible, at least on the aesthetics point. The music, I can just say, was very subdued, lackluster, uninspired, boring sounding, slow. It had no rhythm, no melody, nothing that like got you hyped or got you scared, like the Shadow Temple in Ocarina of Time. You hear that music and you're afraid. You hear the Water Temple music in Ocarina of Time and you're confused and you're kind of worried about the situation, how you're going to tackle this. I didn't get any of that. I didn't get any of that in Tears of the Kingdom. So yeah, the music, no. And like I said, that goes for the whole game. There's no epic Hyrule music when you're riding around on your horse, you know, to get you pumped up like you're here to save the world, you're here to save the land. Come on, let's go. None of that. Just a few piano notes here and there. Awful. Awful. So that also leads to the items. You know, I wonder if it's a symptom of our world, of our current times, that like people can't work for things. People they want instant satisfaction, instant gratification right now, right here. So they give you all of your abilities. They give them to you within the first like 30 minutes of the game. And that's the one positive that I will say that this game has, Tears of the Kingdom. The abilities you do have are very cool. You know, the Ultra Hand, being able to move things, fuse, put things together. Recall, where you can like rewind time on objects. And the Ascend ability, you can like jump through ceilings. They're cool abilities. I will always give credit where credit is due. But they give them to you all at once. So throughout the entire game, you have everything that you need. So exploration essentially means nothing. Going through the temples means nothing. You're not going to earn anything from these temples or dungeons. At most, you'll get like a piece of a heart, kind of. You know, or you can, if you get 4 of them, you upgrade your heart. It's pointless to me. It seems so pointless. Like, for instance, in the Water Temple in Ocarina of Time, you're exploring through this maze, this labyrinth, you know, with different levels of water, making it go up and down, and then you come across this room eventually, and you can't get across, but you see this thing on the wall, and you have no idea what it is. Spoilers, by the way, for Ocarina of Time. If you haven't played it, it is the highest rated game of all time. Don't take my word for it. Go look it up on Metacritic. It just happens to be my favorite as well. And you see this thing on the wall, and you can't reach it, and you wonder why. Like, I can't get over there. Well, turns out you need to get a hook shot. You know, actually, I think you need the long shot to get over there. And it's an item that you obtain while you're in the dungeon, while you're in the temple. And when you finally do get it, how you get it is awesome. when you finally do get it, and then you can get over there and you can traverse across the room, it feels good. You feel rewarded. You feel like you put your time into something, and then you got something out of it. And I don't feel that way in the new Zelda games, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I just feel like, oh, what's the easiest, simplest way for me to solve this puzzle to move on? Like, the shrines are cool in theory, but instead of having 120 shrines, I'd rather have 5 or 10 temples. And each temple, has like 20 puzzles in it or something like that, right? You see what I'm saying? Has like 15 puzzles in it. Where you have to, and it all interconnects, and it has themes to it, right? Oh, the water temple, man. From Twilight Princess, the water temple, where you have the iron boots, and like the iron boots suck you to the ceiling. They're like magnetic, and you can walk across the ceiling. Dude, it's so freaking cool, And my favorite boots of all time, personally, are the hover boots from Ocarina of Time. They're these little boots. They have wings on them, and you walk, and like when you walk off an edge, you literally hover. You like float for like 2 seconds. And it makes a cool noise and everything. These items, man, were things that you earned and that you had to fight for. And when you got them, you felt accomplished. You felt that sense of pride and accomplishment. I don't get any of that in Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. Because they give you all the items up front and say, here you go. Which in today's world, I guess, is what kids want. I guess that's what the people want. It's not what I want. And I guess I'm an old guy, I'm jaded, I'm whatever. Call me whatever you want. I miss the old Zelda, the traditional Zelda. It goes so far beyond all of it. All of these points, too. There's so much I can talk about. The combat. In Tears of the Kingdom, Twilight Princess, you have the hero Shade. You have the old Link from Ocarina of Time, and he comes back in these, like, weird, trippy memories that Wolf Link has, and he teaches Link some really cool abilities, and it makes the combat fantastic in Twilight Princess. It's the best combat the series has ever seen, in my opinion. Whereas in here, it's like you have all of your abilities up front. You have your backflip, your parry, and your flurry rush. You learn it all right away. Too much, too fast. And then, that's to say nothing of the world itself, how we are in the exact same Hyrule, which Zelda has never done before, ever. We're in the same world that I explored 6 years ago, with the same graphics, same art style, same choppiness. It's not like the game runs better or anything. If anything, it's even worse because of all the things that happen, with the Ultra Hand. So it doesn't look good. It looked good 6 years ago, but now games have progressed so much, it doesn't look good anymore. Combine that with the fact that it has technology from so long ago, the Switch was underpowered to begin with. Combine all of that with the fact that it's the same exact art style. At least with Majora's Mask, it was the same art style, but it was a completely new world. Completely new. With new characters, new quest lines, new bosses, new way different abilities, like incredible abilities in Majora's Mask. Remarkable abilities in that game. It was wholly unique from Ocarina of Time. So yeah, it had the same art style, but everything else about it was different. All the dungeons, all the themes of the dungeons. So here we have the same world, same graphics, same music, same enemies, same combat. Yeah, we have the sky above and the grounds below. The sky is okay, and the depths are horrible. I hated the depths. Once I stepped into them, I was like, this is pretty cool. Oh my gosh, like it's all dark and mysterious. And then I ran around for a while, and when I couldn't figure out, what to do, and that there were these little like glowing, they call them light roots. You like light them up, and it kind of illuminates the area around you, and then you're just running from place to place, trying to just light up this, underground cave, and there's nothing there. It's the same enemies everywhere. Same art style, there's no like snow area or like, oh, there's a fire area over here or a forest over here or a snow area here. And this place is all pouring down rain for some reason. Like, there was no different biomes underground. It was all the exact same. All the enemies had that red glow. They're just reskinned. You know, reminds me of like how Halo or Destiny's becoming, where it's just reskinning everything, not coming up with new designs, with new sounds, new animations, new abilities, new movements, you know, new music. It was just all like a minimalistic type of development, game development. I feel like the heart and soul wasn't put into it. And the sky is just okay. The sky's a little better than the depths, but there's still nothing up there. Nothing up there. Like I said, guys, I'd rather have a much more condensed world, much more condensed, with a few dungeons. Give me quality over quantity, right? And it sucks because Zelda is, or was, my favorite franchise of all time. And it's like, what has become of this? What has become of it? You know, now we got Zelda with her short hair, and she looks awful. I think she looks ugly. She looks terrible. And I see a bunch of people online, and they love it, and I'm just like, compare Breath of the Wild Zelda to this, to Tears of the Kingdom? Put them side by side for the love of God? And you tell me, and you look me right in the eyes and tell me, honestly, you think Tears of the Kingdom is prettier? I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. The long hair is beautiful. Her Twilight Princess look, Ocarina of Time look, Skyward Sword. Gorgeous woman. Now she just looks awful. Just awful. So we have the same world, same graphics, same gameplay, same music, same enemies, similar dungeons, or Divine Beast, whatever you want. The story, since I haven't beaten it, apparently the story's a little better. I don't know. It's just, Zelda's missing its soul. It's missing it. You know? The ice arrows, like I miss finding those, you know, and getting them. The light arrows, the fire arrows, and having to do puzzles with those specific items. The boomerang, wearing the tunics, like, and how cool they looked. You know, the different tunics, the green, the red, the blue. Now we have these armor pieces, and all the armor looks, it looks awful. And how do you get it? Oh, rupees. And how do you get rupees? Can you cut grass or defeat enemies for rupees? Pretty much no, like not at all. You gotta either find rupees randomly in chests every now and then, or sell things. I think you just have to sell like items to get rupees. It's a terrible system. Terrible. And then you're flooded with weapons. Yeah, that's another thing. It's like the weapons. You're flooded with weapons, and none of the weapons. It's once again quantity over quality. None of the weapons do anything for me. It's like, just give me a few good weapons that are awesome, and I will use them forever. You know? Like, give me a few items that are sweet and badass. But no. They give you a million weapons, and none of them, very few of them, some of them do cool things. Like you have this magic rod or whatever, and you throw it, or you hit it, and then like a little fireball will come out of it. That's cool. They should have leaned into more of that stuff. But instead, all the weapons just break, and whatever. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, so basically what I'm trying to say is I want the old traditional Zelda back. It's always been better. It always was better. I don't know why people thought that they had to get away from it. I guess it's because that's what they've been doing, you know, every time. So, okay, cool, we did this, we tried this. I hope we move away from it now. Can we go back to the traditional, please? I don't think we will. I hope and pray that we will. A rated M horror-style Zelda game is like my biggest wish before I die. I'll make a video on that. But, so hopefully for the next one we get traditional dungeons, like the Forest Temple, man. The Forest Temple in Ocarina of Time. That atmosphere, you know, with the pose, with the ghosts. Bring that all back. Please, Nintendo, please. Bring it back. You know, you have your new audience that loves this open world thing that you guys are doing, and I would venture to say that they are the younger audience, and there's nothing wrong with that. But do not forget, please do not forget that you have your older audience. We're still here. We still exist. You know, the mature audience that wants the classic style of Zelda back. Linear story. You can keep it kind of open world, right? Like Twilight Princess, Ocarina, they were always kind of open world, these 3D games. You can really lean into that stuff. But take some of the shrines, instead of just having them scattered in meaningless things, put them into a theme, and then make a music composition for that theme, and make it a temple, tie that into the story, put a badass item and cool bosses and enemies in that temple, right? In a specific biome, like a snow temple in a snowy area or something like that, right? And then tie it all together, these different, you know, seemingly disparate things, tie them all together to make a beautiful world. You know, and then we'll have the next generation of Zelda with a new art style, please. Not that the current one's bad, it's just that it's tired. You know, we've had it for 2 games. Zelda's always had different art styles, every 3D game, except, like I said, Ocarina and Majora. But they came out a year apart, by the way, not 6 years. So, for the love of God, go back to your roots, please.